To pray, there's no angels where I go. Only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Why, hello everybody. This is Kirusho here. Now, whenever we last left off, it has been a couple weeks since the sports festival. And Midoriya has spent this time wisely. He has been conducting the white suits in proper shape and order. And they've actually been seen as more or less going from a Ghoul street gang to an actual organization that may have some actual brains behind that brawn. They do have a good number of soldiers and men. Loyalty is in fierce supply. Now, with that being said, it has been 2 days since Midoriya's little broadcast. Now, seemingly overnight, the opinion of ghouls changed. Not only was there a lot of negative information about ghouls out in the public now, but there's even a bit good. All the good Midoriya has done with killing some of these gangsters and thugs. People stepping forwards and explaining that they have had interactions with ghouls, and that they believe they have met the three-eyed ghoul. A woman once saying that she was being mugged, and a ghoul saved her. At least she thinks it was. They smashed the man into the ground. Now, were also the people Midoriya saved from the human trafficking ring when he got the plastic explosives. Now, with that being said, he also did have a few onlookers to his broadcast. Surprise, surprise. Someone wants to meet him. Now, with that being said, Eto Yoshimura. She actually does know a good way to get into contact with Midoriya. They already knew his identity. They bought those photos from the man whenever he talked about a ghoul. They weren't interested, until he brought up that the guy was also a freak, having only one eye. That interested them. He sold them copies of the photos. And they wanted to know more about him, so they looked into him themselves. Now, with that being said, Midoriya, after leading the white suits, he actually does hide out at home for a little bit of time. It is closer by. He has been inside for about 2 days since he got home. The CCG is getting tighter and tighter on patrols, and they're actually advising people to stay inside more. This has gone from more of a suggestion to we will arrest you if you take a step outside of that apartment. Now, Midoriya has been staying here. He is going to wait for nightfall. Whenever it does occur, this is going to be whenever things change. Now, Eto actually does decide to have someone deliver a message. And over the next 2 to 3 days, a lot of events occur. Midoriya, on day 1, he does actually decide to leave, heading out for the night and trying to make sure to keep up on certain things. Locking the door behind him and actually staying with the white suits. The next day, he actually does begin to work more on the white suits' teamwork, and the way they talk to each other whenever they're trying to work, along with getting them ready for another assault. Them heading out for the night and doing all of this, and being alerted whenever something happens. Whenever they're at a warehouse tonight, many of the men are waiting and simply not doing a single thing. There are multiple cars here and multiple people. Things are not adding up. As soon as the lights turn on, Midori and his boys immediately understand that this is a trap. Midori immediately instructing his men to get back, fall back, and do not engage, thinking that this is the CCG. Now, as soon as someone opens their mouth, they don't do a single thing, throwing off the hood and immediately showing their face. It is a ghoul. Midoriya being confused, he is flying backwards through the air as he flips his body and throws his feet off of the beam behind him, flying forwards and immediately landing in front of them, standing up on his legs and just staring at this person, saying that he should have known ghouls would be after him. So, who are you? Oh, well, I'm no one. In fact, we do have someone who does want to meet you. Someone in our organization. Let me guess. You are Origiri. Why, yes, actually. How did you know? Because I've been looking for you. I didn't think you'd come to me. Well, actually, there's a reason for that. One of our high-ranking members, they have given the order. We set this all up to find you and give you this. Now, this person hands over a phone to Midoriya, him simply taking it and asking exactly what is this about. The ghoul just stating that they have information that he will need, and that their boss will contact him soon, before simply vanishing. Now, Midoriya and his boys go back to patrol for the rest of the night, encountering CCG and a few of the thugs who are trying to use this little lockdown to commit more crimes. Now, the next day, Midoriya, he actually does get a message. The person introducing themselves and wanting to meet with Midoriya, somewhere public and in the middle of everyone. A cafe in the mall. Quite a surprise. Midoriya simply asking who they are and wanting a bit of information. The person simply telling Midoriya that they are someone who can teach him a lot about his abilities. You are the hybrid, a human and a ghoul. Very unique and very special. I would like to discuss things further with you, wanting to understand your abilities. And your Kagunes. Kagunes. So you're aware of my number. 3. Extraordinary. Not even I have 3. Really, and what makes you special? Well, don't worry about that. Simply meet me at the cafe, and we'll talk more. Now, Midoriya actually does head out. However, he does instruct his boys that he's meeting someone publicly, and that if anything does go wrong, that they need to stay not too far behind him. Stay roughly about not even 2,000 feet from him. If anything goes wrong at the mall, engage. However, everyone stay incognito. Now, a lot of Midoriya's guys do listen. All of them splitting up and taking different ways to the mall. And sticking there. As Midoriya, he walks into the cafe. He has a jacket, pants, and a black shirt. As he does carry his hood over his head. looking around and getting a buzz on his phone. As he does look at it, it is simply a picture. As soon as Midoriya walked in, he was looking in that direction. The person in the background is on his right, so he walks left. And he sits down at a table where, apparently, someone is typing away on a computer. And they are heavily engrossed into their project. Now, Midoriya asks the question if she is the one he is supposed to meet. Her simply not responding, and still tapping away. The person bringing 2 cups of coffee, and sitting them down. Simply asking if this is the man that she was waiting for. Her simple response being yes, taking the coffee and taking a couple sips of it, sitting it down and going back to her work. As she actually does look at Midori for a second, and say that is perfect, he is here. Really now. Midori bringing off his hood, simply asking her exactly why is it that she wanted to meet him. So, your Origiri tree. Shh. Hey, quiet down. The person simply going from a, well, different type of wonder to a bit more of a sinister and serious tone. As soon as they threw that off, Midoriya knew that they were the person he was looking for, since only a ghoul can work a double life like that. Before asking exactly what it is she wants. Well, quite simple. I wanted to meet the one-eyed king. Well, false king actually. We work for the real one. Oh really? I wasn't aware that there was any other ghouls like me in the underworld. Oh, don't worry. There's quite a bit. Her just bringing her hand up and covering her eye. Her right one. Midoriya hearing that small sound, as he does see the red veins course around her eye. And she actually does bring her hand out for a second. Midoriya seeing it and immediately being in shock. Her quickly covering it and actually just peeking her head back down into her laptop screen. All the people that look in that direction see a girl working on her laptop. While Midoriya, he is just slowly sipping his coffee, with both hands on the mug, simply enjoying it. Everyone looking away, as Midoriya does actually just simply bring the cup directly in front of his face. Instead of drinking it, he just makes it appear as he is investigating it, asking her exactly what is going on. How is she even like him? Well, well, different circumstances, I guess. Now, listen, I'm still working on my first publication, but hey, I can't really give you a lot of information about me. At least, not since I can't trust you. So, well, let me give you some information that shows that you can trust me. Listen, I have a contact in the CCG, and rumor has it they're about to post your identity all over the news. Any heroes and police officers and investigators are going to be trying to find you. In fact, yeah, some of them already suspect that you're here. Are you serious? What? When are they doing this? Oh, about... Everyone's phone in the cafes buzzing. Midoriya looking down and seeing a news alert. As soon as he clicks on the link, he sees the photo. It is a photo of him. In fact, it's quite simply closer. It is of him in the Yaoyorozu manor. He can see that. However, it's one of the photos that don't show Momo's face. It shows, well, her barely even at all. She was too far away. In fact, she was directly behind the door at the time this picture was taken, so it's only him with his Kagune. Midoriya simply immediately locking his phone and throwing up his hood, simply asking her exactly what is going on. How did you know that? I told you I have information. Now listen. In 3, 2, 1. That being whenever there is a loud explosion on the outside of the building. And well, the CCG is here. Now, Midoriya and Eto get sent flying across the cafe and smash into the ground. Eto simply covering her face and running out of the back door, running into the kitchen while all the commotion is going on. Fire and everything. Midoriya running out after her. And simply beginning to try and form a plan. She grabbed onto him and simply yanked him into a different direction, informing him that their little plan is going to be quite simple. Seriously, I don't even know who you are. But you can trust me, right? Her saying as she pulls him down the street and takes a hard right. Now, Midoriya simply says, fine, as Midoriya informs his men to stay incognito, and hangs up the phone, as they're both hauling ass in this direction. And well, the CCG has scattered investigators in every single direction. This is about hunting down the ghoul and finding him. Now, Eto actually does something a bit clever. Now, Eto begins to inform Midoriya that they barely even have less than a minute. So, as she rounds the corner, pulling him into an alleyway, turning around and telling him that he does know how to manipulate the RC cells to change his face, right? Yeah, why? Okay, do that. Her immediately just beginning by taking off her shirts, saying that they're going to recreate something. Telling Midoriya to play along and both of them will get out of here. Now, Midoriya actually does listen, as he throws off his hoodie and tosses it behind the dumpster, along with pulling off his shirts and, well, immediately just wrapping his hands around Eto and pushing her up against the wall, as she makes it look a bit too convincing, beginning to kiss Midoriya and smear makeup all across his face. Now, the CCG eventually do find these two after they heard a bit of a commotion in the alleyway. Surprise, surprise. They were ghoul hunting, and instead they found a few teenagers in an alleyway deciding that it would be the best place for some private time. I'm informing them that they need to cut that out. The investigators simply saying that they are on a manhunt, and that they shouldn't even be in an alleyway. They advise civilians to avoid them. Now, this is when Midoriya does ask the question. Exactly what are they trying to do? Kid, didn't you hear? We sent it to every phone in the city. We're hunting down the ghoul eye patch. Really? Are you sure? Yes. Hell, me and about 20 other investigators headed this way. Did you happen to see anything while you were... sorry. No. Midoriya says, wrapping his arm around Eto, as she simply says that they didn't see a little bit of anything, really. Alright, well, you two go find somewhere private to do that. Anyways, I have to get back to my job. Him simply taking off running in the same direction. Away from them. Now, Midoriya and her do stand there for a second. His hair is messed up. He has lipstick all over his face. He doesn't have a shirt, and, well, she made things a bit too convincing, since he does have to zip up his fly. Now, Eto does just say that he is actually a pretty good kisser, as she does try and wipe off her mouth. Now, the two do get a bit cleaned up. On the way to the new location they're heading to, Midoriya does actually ask her a question. Why did she use tongue? I'm very sorry. I saw the joke there and I just wanted to make it. Anyways, now, back to the serious parts. Anyways, she instructs Midoriya that this is going to be where they actually are meeting. This is Origiri Tree's little hideout. One of them at least. Her saying as she actually does introduce Midoriya to a few other people and telling him that they are going to be working together for a while. You seek to better mankind and ghouls. We seek to do the same thing. No, you don't. You want to enslave mankind. And actually take them over, correct? No, you have us all wrong. Sure, we, well, kill, murder, and butcher, but that is because we must feed ourselves, feed everyone that we have. That is how we keep each other in order. If someone begins to eat too much, they become a problem for all of us. So we execute them. I see. So, you don't care about killing the innocent then, do you? Innocent? You're funny. Listen to me. Innocent or not, we need to eat. Besides, even if we do go after criminals, you and your little crew butchering them isn't enough. Hell, I can name off the list of every criminal you have ever butchered. And, surprise, surprise, that would barely even feed any of us for even a few days. In fact, do you want me to tell you how many of us there are in Origiri? Over 7,000. That number shocking Midoriya, as he does bring up a fact. She called him a false king. What does she mean? Her sitting him down properly and explaining the true title of the One-Eyed King, and informing him about many, many things that he will need to know. Along with Midoriya seeing a few tricks some of these ghouls do have up their sleeves. Since Eto began to question him about his own abilities, and the two simply talked. Now, that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.